It might be the tail end of tomato season where I live, but it could be peak season where you are. So it's never a bad time for me to share with you how I make a great BLT sandwich. Let's start with the bacon. Don't reach for the thickest cut you can find, but you definitely want something that's considered thick cut when it comes to bacon. And make sure it's hardwood smoked. Cured or uncured, doesn't really matter. Uncured obviously is the more healthy option, but everything in moderation, right? There's a number of ways you can cook bacon, in the oven or in a skillet. I prefer cast iron myself. And I start in a cold pan and place it over medium-low heat. Now the bacon needs to be cooked until it's very crispy, but don't burn it. That crispiness provides a nice contrast and texture to the juicy tomatoes in the sandwich. Soft and chewy bacon makes the sandwich pretty hard to eat, and you'll most likely just pull a piece right out as soon as you try to take a bite. Once the bacon is evenly browned on both sides, transfer the slices over to a sheet pan lined with some paper towels. That'll help capture some of the excess grease. Okay, on to the least interesting part of this sandwich. We're talking lettuce. Now there's a few options that work really well here. Shredded iceberg is my go-to for the fresh crunch and stability it provides in the sandwich. It also grabs the tomatoes, which can be slippery, and keeps them in place when you're eating your sandwich. That's important because you don't want your sandwich falling apart as you eat it, right? Other options might include some shredded romaine or a few pieces of green leaf lettuce. An important step here is to always wash and drain your lettuce before you actually use it. A salad spinner works great here. I've got a link in the description below if you want to pick one up. It's an affiliate link, so it helps me out a little bit. It doesn't cost you any more. Once the lettuce is dry, just put it aside with the bacon, and we'll continue prepping our ingredients. The bread. That's right, the bread. Now this might look like the perfect loaf to use for a sandwich like a BLT, but I'm going to show you something here. A cut through the cross-section is going to reveal that this loaf is pretty holy, and it's not going to provide enough support for a BLT sandwich. You're going to get mayonnaise all over your hands with a sandwich made with bread like that. My suggestion, stick with a good old loaf of classic white sandwich bread. It's light enough but dense enough not to interfere with anything while still providing a solid platform to build your sandwich on. Definitely toast your bread. You can do that in a pan with some olive oil or butter. It gets a little messy though, so I usually stick to the good old-fashioned toaster oven. The tomato is the star of the sandwich, and don't you forget that. I recommend sticking to locally grown varieties that are large and meaty rather than the ones that are small or filled with a lot of seeds. The more flesh, the better. Slice your tomato into pieces that are just shy of a 1/4 inch thick. Then season the tomatoes with some sea salt or kosher salt, doesn't really matter, but that will accentuate their sweetness. And a little black pepper provides a nice bite. Can't forget my secret ingredient though, and that's a dash of celery salt. It adds this sort of unexpected warm and hearty flavor to the tomatoes. Pretty hard to describe, you just gotta try it, okay? For mayonnaise, make your own if you'd like. It's easy enough, but honestly, I just use stuff from the jar. Make sure you slather it over both pieces of bread. It plays two important roles here. One, it adds a creamy element to the sandwich, and two, it provides a barrier between the juicy tomatoes and the bread, which helps ward off sogginess. All right, we're building the sandwich now. I prefer to have a thin layer of shredded iceberg on the bottom of the sandwich that the tomatoes rest on top of. And when I put my tomatoes on my sandwich, I like to make an even layer. So I end up cutting a couple of the tomatoes and putting essentially 2 even layers of tomatoes in my sandwich. Anything left over is just a quick snack before the main course. The bacon is next, and if those slices are a little bit too long, sometimes I break off the end of the bacon, once again as a little treat, just to make them fit better in the sandwich. There we go. Perfect. And to finish, another layer of shredded iceberg on top. Then, of course, the last piece of bread to form what is a quintessential bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. Now, are you someone that cuts straight across? Or are you a corner-to-corner type of person? Me? Well, your boy goes corner to corner. Oh, yeah. Nice looking cross-section. Beautiful sandwich. Food coma incoming. Think I might have to take the rest of the day off. Hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you next time.